Welcome to the lineup. I'm Megan McDonald. We have a big weekend in WAC play as the regular season starts to wind down and teams fight for their lives for a bid to the WAC tournament. With that being said, let's take a look at some of the top stories around the conference. Getting things started with UNLV men's soccer. The Rebels are third in the WAC standings right now, coming off a 5-1 win over Incarnate Word last weekend, but oh man, do they have their work cut out for them. UNLV faces number 19 Seattle U and Utah Valley, who is also ranked earlier this year. Even if the Rebels can grab one win on the weekend, it might just shake up the conference standings. We'll see what Danny Musovsky can do as he leads the WAC in points at 21 and goals at 9. Over in women's soccer, only a couple weeks left in the regular season, and UMKC is really starting to peak at the right time, winning 3 of the last 4 of its games, catapulting themselves back into the top 3 of conference standings. The Roos take on UTRGV and New Mexico State again, but this time at home this weekend. Some may have thought that losing goalkeeper Nina Gianos to injury would have doomed the season, but check out the true freshman exceeding those expectations. Anna Lillig was named WAC Defensive Player of the Week, making a total of 8 saves for those wins over the Vaqueros and the Aggies. Volleyball is starting the second half of conference play. UMKC on the road at Seattle U. Taryn Miller leads the WAC in digs at 5.25, while the Roos as a whole lead the conference in opponent hitting percentage at .175. Martina Shamadan leads the Redhawks and the WAC in hitting percentage at .435, while Seattle U as a team leads the conference in service aces. Now, the Roos are tied with the Redhawks for 4th place at 4-3, and the overall series between the teams is 3-3. This match is looking to be pretty even. We'll see which team can prevail and come out on top to break that tie in the standings. Obviously, those games are not the only ones being played in the WAC. As fall season comes to a close, every single game is important, so let's take a look at other key matchups. In men's soccer, Air Force travels to San Jose State. These teams are in a 3-way tie for 6th place as of right now. Remember, only the top 6 teams qualified to the WAC tournament, and the first tiebreaker is the winner of the head-to-head matchup. So this game is very important for both teams. Also, UMKC takes on Bakersfield. Same thing with the runners, they need to get a couple more W's and only have a few more games to do that to put themselves back into the conference championships discussion. Not quite as dramatic as men's soccer, but on the women's side, lots of other key matchups. Bakersfield hosts Seattle U, who looks to extend its 12-game winning streak on the road, and Utah Valley travels to Grand Canyon. GCU looking to bounce back in front of its home crowd after dropping its last 2 matches. Elsewhere in volleyball, former regular season champ UMKC takes on number 2 in the standings Utah Valley. The Roos looking to bounce back after being handed a loss from Bakersfield. Another key matchup, New Mexico State and UTRGV. The Aggies yet to fall to a WAC opponent, so we'll see what the Vaqueros bring to the match this weekend. Alright, we all know you want to watch your favorite teams play, so let's take a look at what you can watch live on the WAC Digital Network. Early in the weekend, Utah Valley Volleyball hosts UMKC. In men's soccer, the Wolverines travel to Grand Canyon and Bakersfield takes on Air Force. Over in women's soccer, we already touched on this a little bit, the Bakersfield-Seattle U game and the Grand Canyon-Utah Valley game, both on the WAC Digital Network. Later in the weekend, 3 volleyball games on Saturday. The runners host the Lopes, UTRGV versus New Mexico State, and the Wolverines take on Chicago State. One more game in men's soccer, and that's Grand Canyon hosting Seattle U. Over in women's soccer, Utah Valley Bakersfield, Seattle U Grand Canyon, and New Mexico State UMKC games, all live on the WAC Digital Network. So we are just 1 week away from cross-country championships, so most teams are taking the week off. All but one, Seattle U travels to Corvallis for the Beaver Classic to get one last race in. Don't forget, you can watch live games on the WAC Digital Network at wacsports.com/live. For more information, check us out at wacsports.com or follow us on Twitter and Facebook.